Hello and welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube, powered by the iRig Stream. I'm using Streamlabs. I'm using the iRig Pro Duo as an interface. Today I am going to be demonstrating this app. Now, I think I produce it Torero, but it seems to say, to me, it seems to say Torero. So, oh hi Joe, hello Bo. There are some people in the chat. That's nice and reassuring. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. So, is it pronounced Torero or Toreo? Can anyone tell me? I believe it's an emulation of an old, I think it's a Farfisa organ, and it was sampled from the actual organ itself. So I think it sounds very, very realistic. I'm not an expert on organs, but my mother was a piano and organ player, and she did have an organ similar to this when I was a nipper. So it sounds very, very realistic to me. So let me just do that. You'll see that I'm in Cubasis 3, and I've got BeatHawk up here, and I'm going to use the acoustic drums. That's if I get as far as recording something. My intention is to use the acoustic drums in BeatHawk. So I'll just show you that very quickly. I'm not going to be talking about BeatHawk in any depth. I'm just going to show you what I've done. When you open up BeatHawk, its kind of default sort of state is that the 16 pads open like this. And what I did first of all was I just went and started a new project to clear all the sounds out of it, and then I just went on to pad number 1 down here, and I went to my browser and I selected acoustic drums, loaded them into patch number 1 as a kit. So you can load in individual sounds, or you can load in the whole kit. And when you do that, what happens is that when you go into this mode here, you get all of the kit spread across these keys, which is nice and handy, because what I want to do, although the pattern builder inside of BeatHawk is absolutely fantastic, and I've done videos on that if you want to check them out. What I wanted to do was to build my drum patterns inside of Cubasis. So if I just leave that like that and don't even go to BeatHawk again, I can use the general MIDI positions in Cubasis piano roll to trigger all of those drum sounds. And the acoustic drum sounds in BeatHawk do sound particularly good. We are very, very limited when it comes to, well, I think anyway, when it comes to realistic sounding drum apps on iOS, and this is definitely one of the few decent ones to choose from, really. Okay, so is it Torero or is it Torero? Somebody tell me in the chat. I've got past watching an advert to watch my own video here. I'm using my Samsung phone over here that I've got absolutely no idea how to operate, but it seems to be doing its thing. Just let me know in the chat if you can hear everything okay as well. I'll just play a magic chord just so you can let me know if that's audible and you can hear my speaking voice okay. Okay, so let's, you'll see I've also got a track here for bass guitar, which hopefully I might get as far as laying down some bass to go with a bit of a track that I'm hoping I'm going to make. I've got some drums programmed in here for BeatHawk. I was working on a bit of a jam, and it didn't turn out too well, but I liked the drums, so I've kept the drums, and let's see if we can later on throw some organ and bass onto these drums. Okay, that's awesome. Thanks for letting me know, Joe. Thank you, Bo. All right, so let's have a look at this organ. Now, I'm no organ expert. I am no Doug Woods, But I've been having a bit of a play with this and I'm pretty impressed with it, so I will do my best to explain it to you. Now, I have to say that that I try to do my live streams on new apps, sort of not conflicting with anyone else. So if I know Doug's doing something one day, or one of the other iOS content creators, I'll try not to do it that day or too close. But Doug released a video, I think it was this morning. I'm looking over there at my phone that has the chat on it, as though Joe's going to be there and tell me. Yeah, so Doug's just done a video on this, and Jade's doing one later. I didn't know that when I decided to do it. If I had realised, I might have left it while next week's stream. So my apologies for the repeat content. So anyway, what we have is an organ that has sounds for the bass pedals, for the left hand and the right hand. So we've got the bass stuff up here and the stuff for the right hand down here. Let me just switch a few of these off so that I can demonstrate them more effectively. And just reset a few things. We've got drawbars and everything in here. Now, if I go into this section here, this is where I can change all my settings, like Midi settings and stuff like that. And you will see, although it might be a little too small to see if you're watching this on a phone, but down here we have some settings that we can alter for if we were wanting to use multiple controllers, so that we could like have a right hand, a left hand keyboard, maybe something to control the bass notes. You can set all that up here. But I'm just working with one keyboard this evening, because although I have multiple controllers, I can only kind of fit one on the screen. So that's where I'm at. So I've got a split keyboard situation going on, which is kind of how the default is set. And I'll mention this before I forget. At the top of this list here, you can actually change where the keyboard splits between the left and right hand. So at the moment, I believe it splits here. Let's just... Yes, right. So I switched off all the knobs to do with the right hand. So you'll see that there I've got no sound. But down here I've got my left hand sound. So let's go back to the main screen and I'll show you. Let's just get rid of these. Right, so the way that the left hand incorporates the bass notes is this. If I just play a note here, I have this knob here switched on for bass. If I switch it off, I lose my bass pedal. Right, now I can mix in other sounds with the bass pedal. There's my reed, flute, and there's a button here for attack. Right, and then what I can do is I can, on my right hand, let's flick on a couple of switches. Super quiet, right? Oh, I noticed, by the way, that, but completely by accident, that the modulation wheel on my ancient ivory keys here is mapped to the volume control. Can you see the volume knob moving? Okay, let's just... So we've got knobs here for the flute, brass, horn, oboe, reed, and a brilliance knob. That's the brilliance, which I kind of like on, because it makes it nice and bright. It was yesterday, was it, Joe? Okay, maybe I could be forgiven there. All right. Now, over on this page here, just here, we have drawbars for the lower section and here for the upper section. So if I have one of these things switched on, like say for instance here I've got the brass, I've got everything switched on. So here's the drawbar for the brass. And so I can blend together, effectively mix those different sounds. Now I'm not going to go through this in massive detail because Jade will do that later, and Doug's already done this, and you can watch their videos if you want to see all this stuff in great depth. I'm not really a good enough keyboard player to sort of keep tootling away on the keyboard and adjusting these things, but I wanted to show you this app because I love the vintage sound of it, and I think that I will be able to incorporate it very, very nicely into the kind of music that I'm really into making at the moment. I'm going to come back to this bit. I mustn't forget that bit. Okay. Right, so as I have all of the knobs for the right hand switched on, I can, in fact, let's just turn them all down. I'll show you some of the different blends we can get. I'll bring up the reed. Back it off again a bit. Bring in the horn. That's an interesting chord. Brass. And let's just back that way off and bring in the flute. Bring that oboe with that. And some more reed. Okay, and I can do the same thing for the left hand. So if I just, actually, let me just take the bass note, the bass pedal off while I do that. Okay. And actually, while I'm here and while I remember, I'll show you this. Okay, so we have an ADSR for the bass pedal, for the lower keyboard and the upper keyboard. So actually, the way that they're set is it's probably just kind of the way I would have them set. But let's say, for instance, if we wanted to take off the attack off the right hand, which I'm playing with my left because I'm fiddling with my iPad with my right hand. Okay, so we can have a slower attack, and we can have a long release, etc., etc. And we can do that for the 3 different component parts that make up the organ. I'm just going to... Oh, and there's a button for reset as well. There we go. We'll reset that. Now, I'm going to show you this because there's another thing that I've been worrying about forgetting. Well, I wouldn't say worrying. It's been on my mind. I mean, I wouldn't say I've been, I wouldn't say I would lose sleep about it, But yes, this pedal over here, right? So you see this pedal? I'm going to rock this all the way back and play a chord. Can I do that with my... Loads of fun. I'm not really skilled enough to do anything with that that's musically pleasing, but it's great for arsing about with. And there's a button to reset that back too. When you click it in the right place, there's a button to reset it. That's actually the only thing I would say about this app, right? If I had to look for some kind of criticism, all I would say is that reset button for that could be a bit bigger. Because my fingers are tiny and I struggle to catch it as just accidentally demonstrated. So, what else have we got here? Oh, right, yes, we've got this button here will... If it's got 3 positions, it's in default position at the moment. If I just press it once, we have the decay dips quickly. I think is the correct way to explain that. And if I put it in the bottom position, that's all I'm getting. Okay. I'm going to put that back to the default position. Now here, I can blend between the two keyboards, the left and right, the left hand, right hand. I can't say that sentence. The left and the right hand. Hi Samuel, thanks for stopping by, mate. I hope that you are extremely well. Oh, you're not feeling well today. Got a slight fever and headache. Well, get well soon. Get well soon, Samuel. I hope it's not the dreaded thingy. Right, so I've put this fader all the way over to the left. So now all I have is left hand, and my right hand is doing nout. And obviously I can do the complete reverse of that. Right and no left. So you can balance the volumes. Because I remember when my mum used to play home organ, she used to have like the left hand was always a fair bit quieter than the right hand. So that's how you do that, right? Does it have like a double click to recenter it? No, it doesn't. Okay. Right, so if I now put in the bass pedal back in with that, right, and we have a volume for the bass note here. Sorry, that was a bit loud. I just saw that clipping. Right, so we've got a volume for the bass and a blend for the left and right. So you can get everything set to a very nice level. Just excuse me one little moment. Okay, right, so now we've also got some more knobs down here. We've got a switch for the vibrato. Then we've got a switch to make the vibrato faster. And we have one to delay the vibrato so it doesn't kick in initially, it sort of creeps in after. Okay, so I think that's everything on the main page, and we've done everything on this page, I believe, or more or less. And then over here we have an effects section, which is marvelous. But I'm going to tell you something about the effects section before I show it you. Something I noticed earlier. Now, I've been having a couple of problems. I'd not used BeatHawk for a while. I used it for the first time in a while yesterday. I've neglected it. And I noticed that it was struggling in Cubasis 3. It kept crashing. And it never used to do that for me before, I'm sure. If I added Spark Verb to it and had a couple more AV3s open, it was crashing all the time. And it was BeatHawk that would sort of close itself down. It was as if it's sort of sacrificed itself to save the rest of the project. And I had to keep opening it again. And then, of course, you have to keep loading up your song again. So a bit frustrating. So I've been keeping an eye on my DSP, right? So you'll see at the moment, we're on 0 DSP down here. And when I play Torero, somebody tell me, it shoots up a fair bit. Now when I've got BeatHawk playing, right, that's over half my DSP spoken for. So I took the reverb off the drums. I'm just going to use them dry for a while. And what happens inside this organ app is that when you start adding these effects, the DSP shoots up considerably. Now, when you're using it in AUM, even on my old Steam-powered iPad, it's not an issue. You can have quite a few other apps open as well. But in Cubasis 3, it becomes an issue quite quickly. So I should be sparing how many of them I have switched on at the same time. I'll just show you these quickly. So we have an EQ module here, a switch it on up here. And then we can adjust the low, middle and high. Let's add some high and some mid. Okay, and then this is really, really nice. The drive, switching on up here, we've got a choice of 5 cabinets, and we can adjust the gain for that sort of John. I wish I could play something by Deep Purple. That John Lordy kind of a sound. Just switch to another cabinet. And then we've got some tremolo over here. So let me just switch the stereo button off so I can demonstrate it more effectively when I switch it on. And you go, ooh, stereo. Right, so there's my tremolo. We can adjust the speed as you would expect. And the amplitude, so that's how deeply the original signal is affected by the tremolo. So let's just whack that up full. See what I mean? That's really, really nice. Now let's in stereo. Right? You're absolutely astounded by the standard of my keyboard playing, I can tell. Joe says she's no idea how it's pronounced, but Doug thinks he said it wrong. Well, it's Doug's fault that I thought it might be Torero, because I watched his video. Because I thought, well, I'm going to demo this app, right? And Doug knows a lot more about this stuff than me, so I'll watch his video first, see if there's anything I've got wrong or didn't understand or whatever, or something I missed or whatever. And I think he was saying Torero. So, Torero. Maybe. I don't know. Let's switch the tremolo off. Now, the reverb is very, very nice. Hear those reflections? I'll just turn the reflections off. And then put the room size up. And we'll bring up the tail. We can also change the amount of it in the mix. Let's whack that up full. A longer tail to that. Okay, now I'm going to kick in the reflections. And more of that. Ooh. A little extreme. Right, go over the bigger room. And a lot less mix. That's marvellous, doesn't that sound great? Thanks for that, Doug. Torero. I'm going to say Torero. That's what I'm going to say. Who cares if I'm wrong? They're just going to shoot me. All right, so here's the chorus. Now, the chorus, how have I got it set now? Okay. Chorus. I think that sounds wonderful, right? But let's say how I like chorus. Nice and slow speed. I love that. That works for me. All right. And then finally, we've got a Leslie. And And we've got a button to make it go faster. And the amount of drive, we can adjust that too. Let's bring that right down. And gradually bring it up. I did miss something. I'm going to go back to there in a moment. Right, and we can also blend between the horn and the bass speaker in the cabinet. So. Marvellous. I think that sounds great. Right, so I'm going to leave all the effects off for now because I'm concerned about the DSP. We'll go back to here and just tell you, no, it's not there, is it? It's here. Right, and this here is where we can map controllers to all the different functions in the app. So if you wanted to use this live, you've got your MIDI learn button and you can map all kinds of different controllers with knobs on, you know, like if you've got stuff like this, or if you've got I can't show you that one because it's under my phone that I'm monitoring the chat with. Hello Grant, thanks for being here, buddy. Oh, am I correct, Doug? Oh, yeah, thanks for telling me. One thing that I did find a little odd in this app, it's not a big deal, is in here, this is where we would call up presets and save our own presets. There are none in it. And I don't know if there are going to be, if that's something that's coming, or if it's just, you know, if it's just, it is as it is, and you just, it's where you can save your own and recall them. I don't know. But I think a few presets might be nice. I think people like presets. So, anyway, right, so, because presets are helpful when you first get an app, just to kind of run through some sounds, see what it sounds like, see what it does. Then you start digging in and doing your own thing. You know, pissy-panting about with it. So, I think I've covered pretty much most of what it does, so I'm just going to do something with a very basic sound for now, and we'll add in the fancier sounds later because of the DSP issue. Yeah, while you're here, Doug, did you try this app inside of Cubasis 3? I know your iPad is a lot more powerful than mine, but if you did you notice that it was a little, a bit of a DSP hog when you started kicking in the effects and everything? And have you used BeatHawk in Cubasis 3 recently? Because it's giving me some issues. It keeps getting face on and closing itself. Right, I'm going to play these drums and have a little jam and see if I can come up with something that's not as terrible as the thing I was doing earlier. I can hear something in my head and my fingers aren't doing it. Ah, right, okay. I think it's coming. I think that's it. Let's have a bit more volume. Volume's mapped to my mod wheel, Doug. And the volume on the keyboard does nothing. But never mind. was okay. It's like John Lord. Right, I'm going to copy this across to save a bit of time. So, although I don't normally do an awful lot of quantizing, in this case I'm going to. If anybody's not done this in Cubasis, to select everything in a MIDI part, double tap somewhere off of the notes, and I'm going to guess that 16s might work for me. No, that didn't work. It's further out than I thought. Okay. I wonder if I just try. No, that's miles out. I'm not even going to play that. Okay. I'll tell you what. Let's just go with what I actually played. Okay. What I will do is I will just time the very first bit because it comes in just before the bar. So if I select these notes here and just move them across inside the bar, then I can cut this front of this MIDI part off, copy it, and then I can paste it over here. Then my drums change here, so I want a different part. And what I want to do is I want to have something where I'm just holding chords, because I want to show off how good the app can sound with the, some of the, maybe the tremolo effect or the Leslie, something like that. So, playing in A minor so that you can just use all the white keys. I could have said C, but A minor sounds cleverer. Right, okay, let's see if that works. Alright, I don't think that was too terrible. I came in early again. I'm just going to leave that overlapping, it doesn't matter. And then at the end here, we'll just take that tail off there. And let's just... see if I can remember what I played earlier. See if I can play it any more accurately than I did earlier. I very much doubt it. Okay. What's Doug streaming tonight? Joe, if you're still with... Oh, he's not... Doug's not used BeatHawk either. He's upstairs now. Okay. Alright, well, don't disturb him. Is he getting ready for a stream later? And if so, what is he streaming? Okay, so... thinking... Right. I'm supposed to be demonstrating this out, but I want to throw some bass on this. So, I'm quickly have a funny about... a pissy bounce about with this sound here. Okay, so let's just... I've got this looping round. I'll just put that there and switch loop on. And we'll just let it play, and I'll ask about the sound and find something I like. Okay, my playing's not. It's not as terrible as I expected it might be if I couldn't quantize it, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm proud of it. All right, so just piss panting about with that quickly. I've got a sound I like much better. That sounds pretty cool to me. Wish I could get some reverb on the drums, but I daren't just yet because I know it's probably going to crash when I do. Now let's just have a look at what the DSP is doing now that I've got some effects on it. That's dancing around between 70% and 90%, so you see what I mean. Okay, right, now I've got a count of 4 at the beginning of these drums, so I'm going to take that back to there and take the loop off. And my bass is in tune, which is a good thing because I daren't open any more apps, so I can't put on my tuner that I normally use out of Newrack. So let me grab a bass. I've plugged that into the right hole, and the track's not armed. So is the lead in the bass? Let's have a look. Okay. Is that a bit loud? Let's see. Actually, I'm seeing the stream peaking. Let me just make an adjustment here on the Eric stream. Okay, I'm just thinking about what I played there on those chords. What bass notes do we need? That's a D, that is. And then what did I do? C, G, F, A, G. That's handy. I know where they are. Oh, go back to there. Where? I forgot what key I'm in. A minor. Okay, I've got an idea for that bit. Times it. Quartz. Right, here's my thinking. Sorry, I just fell silent there a moment. I'm just just reading something in the chat. Oh, okay. So this evening, Doug is going to be demonstrating Animoog, which I will be watching. So everybody watch Doug later, and I will join you in the chat. Yeah, there are some pops and crackles, Joe, and it's it's the DSP. The moment there's not a massive amount I can do about it unless I maybe freeze BeatHawk. I'm not sure if it would or if it'd crash. What I could do actually is I could just turn those effects back off. And that might just cure it. Yeah, sorry about that, Grant. Okay, so who can convince you podcast? You're the reason I'm buying the vintage fretless. That, and you have a Doctor Who poster. Yes, the vintage fretless is beautiful, and it is the reason actually that I became a vintage endorsee, because I was asked if I would like to become an endorsee many years ago for these bass guitars by Fret King. I'm just trying to bring the headstock into view. There you go, Fret King. Now, Fret Kings are sort of a mid-priced instrument, beautifully made, absolutely excellent quality instruments. When I went to have a look at them, the same company also make the vintage instruments. Now, the vintage instruments were massively cheaper, and being a total headstock snob at the time, I just presumed that they'd be crap. And I had no interest in becoming a vintage endorsee whatsoever. Then I went to a trade show where I was representing Fret King, and whilst I was, just sort of killing a bit of time, having a look around the other stands, there was this vintage fretless, and I picked it up, not expecting anything, but I've had a couple of fretlesses before that one, and I just thought that I wasn't meant to play fretless because I could never get on with it, and I just made it sound like shit, to be honest. And I picked this vintage fretless up, and it was just gorgeous. It was magic, and it sounded amazing straight away. And I realised that maybe it wasn't entirely me. Maybe it was partly the instruments I had before were rubbish. So I straight away asked if I could become a vintage endorsee, and now I have a great number of them, shall we say. I've probably got about 5. There's more than 15 vintages in this studio. Now, don't change your headphones. It's probably the low bass notes, Grant, that are sort of tipping it over the edge, but it's but yeah, it's the DSP that's the problem. So now I've taken those effects off. Let's have another go and see if that's cued it. I just want to see what I'm going to do when I get to here. And then it's a C and it's a G. How's that bit go? Alright, okay. I forgot what chords I play there. Just that's a D. D, C, A, F, A, G. Okay, I've got the notes, but out of the groove. Okay, I want to have a go for a take on this, because I am running out of time. You know what I did? Yes, the crackles have gone. But the stupid hippie... Oh, thank you for following me on Twitter. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I forgot to arm record. So that was almost decent take. And, yeah. So we'll call it a test run. I never said I was clever. I'm going to blame you for that, Audible. Making me laugh and putting me off. Oh no, don't press undo, you stupid hippie. I'll undo that, right. Right, so from here, okay. I think I played it better last time anyway, but okay. So we're nearing the end of what I've got time to do today anyway. But I'm just gonna put this bass down a second. Okay. So sorry about the crackling earlier on mute on that. So that there we go. Just trim that back to there. Right. Okay, so I've got drums, bass, and a fantastic organ sound, thanks to Torero, which I think is fantastic. How much is it, by the way? I forgot to check how much it was, because I got sent a code for it, and I thought I really must check how much it is before I do this stream, because I don't know, right? And people will want to know, and I forgot to check. So, how much is it? Somebody tell me in the chat. So this track. Bring that bass down. Right, okay, now let me put the effects back on Torero. Let's see if we can get away with it. Maybe just put the reverb back on, perhaps. We can only manage one effect without clicking. Okay, I can hear some wah-wah guitar. I want some like chippy-choppy wah-wah guitar. That's a technical phrase, by the way. Chippy-choppy wah-wah guitar. I'm sure you know what I mean. We need some of that. And I want to get an amp on this bass. I want to compress it and make it a little dirty. And maybe stick some lead on it. That's kind of why in the different section in the middle I did a little bass melody thing, and then I went back to root notes so that we could maybe put some lead guitar on there, but I ain't got time to do it. So I'm going to clear off. It's £6.99. Oh, Gary, thanks for joining us, mate. Thank you for being here. Yes. So where was I? £6.99. I think that for £6.99, this is absolutely stunning. It sounds great. It has a whole lot of features, and one thing that I really like about it is that you can get like multiple controllers, so that you could have like something to control the bass, the left hand, the right hand. You can map all kinds of things to it, so you could use it live. You could be adjusting all your vibrato and kicking your effects in and out, changing your draw bars. You could do that all of that with controllers. So I think it's pretty wonderful. So yes, I shall leave you with that. So thank you very much for being here. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumb up if you liked this stream. If you didn't, by all means give me a thumb down. But if you didn't, why are you still here? And join me in the chat in Doug's stream, where he will be having a look at Animoog. See you all soon. Make lots of music, be good people, and don't piss your pants about. See you later.